Hmm. I need you to take a breath with me right now, because what I'm about to share with you, it's not what you came here hoping to hear, but it's what you need to hear. And somewhere deep inside, I think you already know that. My name's Anna, and in this reading, I'm feeling this heavy but necessary energy around you. It's like the universe has been trying to get your attention for a while now, and today is the day you finally listen. Let's see what this energy brings. I'm picking up on something you've been avoiding, a truth, a reality, something you've been pushing down, talking yourself out of, or convincing yourself isn't really that important. But it is important, and the longer you avoid it, the heavier it becomes. Here's what I feel I need to say, and I say this with so much compassion. You've been lying to yourself about something, not in a malicious way, not intentionally, but you've been telling yourself a story that deep down you know isn't true anymore. Maybe it's about a relationship that's already over but you're still holding on. Maybe it's about a path you've outgrown but you're too afraid to leave. Maybe it's about a version of yourself you keep trying to be, even though it doesn't fit who you've become. And I know um, I know it's easier to keep pretending. It's easier to stay comfortable in the familiar, even when the familiar is slowly draining you. But it's time now. It's time to face what you've been running from. Hold on. Let's sit with this for a moment. I don't think this message came to hurt you. I really don't. But I do think it came to wake you up, because you've been sleepwalking through parts of your life and your soul is exhausted from it. Your higher self has been screaming at you to pay attention, to make a change, to choose yourself, and you keep hitting snooze. What have you been pretending not to see? Be honest with yourself, even if it's just in your own heart right now. I'm also sensing that you've been waiting for someone else to change, waiting for them to finally see your worth, waiting for them to choose you, waiting for them to become the person you need them to be. And I feel this so strongly. They're not going to, not in the way you're hoping, not in the timeline you're imagining. And that's the hard truth, the painful one, the one that might make your chest feel tight right now. But here's what I need you to understand: this isn't about them. This is about you finally realizing that you've been giving your power away. You've been making yourself smaller, quieter, more convenient, hoping that if you just loved them enough, sacrificed enough, understood enough, they would finally meet you halfway. But love isn't supposed to be that hard. Connection isn't supposed to feel like constantly convincing someone of your value. Here, I feel a slightly different energy. Some of you, this isn't about a person. This is about a dream, a goal, something you've been chasing for so long that you've forgotten to ask yourself if you even still want it. You've invested so much time, so much energy, so much of yourself into this one thing, and the thought of letting it go feels like failure. But what if it's not failure? What if it's redirection? I feel like you've been so afraid of wasting the time you've already spent that you're willing to waste even more time just to prove it wasn't for nothing. And I get it, I really do. It's terrifying to admit that maybe you were wrong. Maybe this wasn't your path after all. Maybe you need to start over. But starting over isn't the same as going backward. Sometimes starting over is the bravest thing you can do. Let's see what else is here. I'm also picking up on this theme of worthiness. Like you've been trying to earn something that should have been freely given, trying to prove that you're enough to someone who keeps moving the goalpost. And every time you get close, every time you think you've finally done enough, they ask for more. And you give it because you've convinced yourself that if you just try a little harder, love a little louder, show up a little more perfectly, then finally you'll be chosen. Finally, you'll be seen. But the truth is, you've already been enough. You've always been enough. And anyone who makes you feel like you need to earn their love, their respect, their presence, they're not your person. They're not your place. Does this resonate with anyone? Have you been trying to prove your worth to someone who should have seen it from the beginning? I need to talk about something else that's coming through really strongly. Fear. You've been so afraid of being alone that you've been accepting less than you deserve. So afraid of starting over that you've been staying in situations that are slowly killing your spirit. So afraid of the unknown that you've been clinging to the familiar, even when the familiar is toxic. And I understand. I really do. The unknown is terrifying. Change is uncomfortable. Walking away from what you know, even when it hurts, feels impossible sometimes. But what's more terrifying? Looking back 5 years from now and realizing you wasted your precious life waiting for something that was never going to happen. Here's what I'm feeling so clearly right now. You've been given signs. So many signs. The universe has been nudging you, whispering to you, sometimes even screaming at you to let go, to walk away, to choose yourself. And you've been ignoring those signs because you're not ready to accept what they mean. But it's time now. It's time to stop ignoring your intuition. Time to stop making excuses. Time to stop betraying yourself for the comfort of others. I don't want to make this sound harsh because I'm saying all of this with so much love, but you need to hear it. You need someone to tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it challenges everything you've been telling yourself. You deserve more. You deserve relationships where you don't have to beg for consistency. You deserve a path that lights you up instead of draining you. You deserve to feel at peace instead of constantly anxious, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But you're not going to receive any of that until you're willing to release what's blocking it. And what's blocking it is your attachment to what no longer serves you. I'm also sensing that some of you have been waiting for permission to leave, permission to change your mind, permission to want something different than what you thought you wanted. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need anyone's permission. You don't need them to understand. You don't need them to agree with your choice. Your life is yours, and you're the only one who has to live it. What have you been waiting for permission to do? What would you choose if you knew no one would judge you for it? I want to shift the energy slightly here because I don't want you to think this is all doom and gloom. It's not. This is actually one of the most loving messages the universe could send you right now. Because on the other side of this acceptance, on the other side of this truth, there's freedom, there's peace, there's space for something real to enter your life. But you have to be willing to feel the discomfort first. You have to be willing to sit with the grief of letting go, the fear of the unknown, the sadness of accepting that something you wanted so badly just isn't meant for you. And that's okay. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel lost for a little while. Those feelings won't break you. They'll transform you. Here I feel something about cycles, like you've been here before, maybe not in this exact situation, but in this same pattern. And every time you tell yourself it'll be different. Every time you convince yourself that this time, if you just love harder, work smarter, try better, it'll work out. But it hasn't, and it won't. Not until you break the cycle. And breaking the cycle doesn't mean fixing the situation. It means walking away from it. It means choosing yourself even when it feels selfish. It means honoring your truth even when it disappoints others. This is your growth edge. This is where you evolve. I'm also picking up on something about self-respect. Like you've been so focused on being kind, being understanding, being compassionate to everyone else that you've forgotten to extend that same energy to yourself. You've been tolerating behavior you would never accept if it were happening to someone you love, and that has to stop because you're someone worth loving too. You're someone worth protecting too, even if the person you need to protect yourself from is someone you care about. Let's see what else needs to come through. I feel like the universe is asking you to get really honest with yourself. Not the version of honesty where you justify and explain and make excuses, but raw, vulnerable, uncomfortable honesty. The kind that makes you squirm because you can't hide from it anymore. What do you know in your gut is true? What have you been pretending not to know? And once you admit it to yourself, what are you going to do about it? Because awareness without action is just another form of avoidance. I'm hearing this message so clearly right now, and I need to share it exactly as it's coming through. You've been waiting for the perfect time, the perfect moment when it won't hurt as much, when it'll be easier, when you'll have all the answers and feel completely ready. That time isn't coming. There's never a perfect time to do hard things. There's only now. And now is asking you to be brave, to trust yourself, to believe that even though you can't see the full path ahead, you'll figure it out as you go. You always have. You're stronger than you think, more resilient than you give yourself credit for. And you're capable of rebuilding, recreating, reinventing yourself in ways you can't even imagine yet. But first, you have to let go. You have to accept what you've been resisting. You have to choose the hard truth over the comfortable lie. And I know that's not what you wanted to hear today. I know you might have clicked on this hoping for reassurance that everything's going to work out the way you've been hoping. But sometimes the most loving thing the universe can do is redirect you. Sometimes the biggest blessing is a closed door. So here's what I want you to do. After this reading, sit with yourself. Really sit with yourself. No distractions, no phone, no noise, just you and your truth. And ask yourself, what do I already know that I've been afraid to accept? Then listen, really listen, not to the fear, not to the ego, but to that quiet voice underneath all of that. The one that's been trying to guide you all along. That voice knows, and it's time you finally trusted it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being brave enough to hear this message, even though it wasn't easy. If this resonated, let me know in the comments. Share what you're ready to accept, even if it's hard. Sometimes saying it out loud makes it real. And remember, on the other side of this acceptance is your freedom, your peace, your truth. It's time. It is